Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Trey, and I want to talk about Miles Morales because Marvel, we need to talk about Miles Morales. And I'm not about to talk about he's a knockoff Peter Parker, because at this point no, there are plenty of other knockoff Peter Parkers. It ain't that boy. It really ain't that boy, and it's not impossible for a black boy to go to a prestigious school because he was very intelligent when he was younger. So let's get that out the way right there. I want people to just get that out the way. I understand a lot of y'all been listening to Ripper, and that's great and all, but a lot of y'all also ain't never picked up a Miles Morales comic book neither. And you ain't picked up other Spider-Man comic books, to be honest too, if you really want to talk about knockoff Spider-Man. But the reason why I want to talk about that is because the SpiderMan Beyond project, that is one of those things that I'm kind of confused about. See, old classic Spider-Man comic books, we already know that when Peter Parker retired or whatever, he gave the title to Ben Reilly. And it feels like SpiderMan Beyond is doing the same thing. But I believe that was a mistake, what they're doing with Ben Reilly. That is a definitely mistake that they shouldn't have made with Ben Reilly. To be honest, Ben shouldn't even have came back after that clone conspiracy, because the clone conspiracy actually messed the character up. Like, it really screwed him up to the point where I'm just like, I don't know if he's even worth, putting time and effort into. But what I want to know, what I'm saying is, if you really wanted to do something right now with the whole Spider-Man Beyond thing, I believe that the perfect opportunity was to put Miles Morales in that stead, not as replacing Spider-Man, but Peter. Like, let's say, okay, after the events of the whole Kendrick thing or whatever, Peter got into this heavy accident that's gonna put him out for a while, right? Okay. So he has a protege. His protege is Miles Morales, Spider-Man, right? I know how some people be like, I don't like the character, blase, blase. But if you was a smart writer, if you was a smart creative, and if certain people were open to it, this would be the perfect time to put Miles in that position. Instead of Ben Reilly, put Miles Morales in there. And the reason why I'm saying put Miles Morales in there, because then you can start showing what they did, what Insomniac Games did in the solo Spider-Man Miles Morales game. You can show Miles having to really be Spider-Man without Peter's guidance. It'll be like the first, like, what I'm talking about is, when I mean Spider-Man, I mean he's going to be all of Spider-Man from, like, when he was in the Ultimate Universe. In the Ultimate Universe, he was a great Spider-Man. He held the Ultimate Universe line for a long time by himself. But what I'm saying is, this would be the perfect opportunity for him to be like, hey, Peter's out, the Spider-Man, and then it's Spider-Kid. Let Miles lean into it, but also second guess himself. This is how you give some character growth and change to him. Yes, he will have to fight some of Spider-Man's villains. Yes, he will ask for help from Spider-Gwen and Mary Jane and Aunt May, who knows. But you can get him started with a story arc that kind of shows this character off in a way that we haven't seen him before, without trying to make him a knockoff. Like, yes, he has to deal with school, but he also has to deal with the fact that, hey, now that he's stepping up in Peter's position right now, he's taking on a lot more responsibility than his worth. So not only do he have to deal with Peter's rogues gallery, he has to deal with Avengers, X-Men, Inhumans, and his own, while also dealing with the champions as well. So he would have to tell, hey, the champions, I can't be on the team anymore because I have to deal with this other stuff. And he's not going to have that gaudy ass swagger bullshit outfit. I understand the reason why he changed it is because he had a clone that was going around terrorizing people in his name, and I get that. But no, Miles, that outfit is not the business, to be honest. I'm not even gonna sit here and lie to you and be like, yeah, this is amazing, to be honest. No way, Jose. I think not. So we're not gonna do that. We're definitely not gonna do that, to be honest. So we're going to give him a better costume. Definitely a better costume. I would take a little bit of inspiration from SpiderMan Far From Home costume design, where what we would do is we'll take the color palette that Miles have. So what will happen is, you know how Spider-Man's suit is red and black. So what we would do is we will recolor it. So all of the red will be black and all of the black will be red in the suit. That's kind of how you can kind of differentiate, like, oh, it's a new Spider-Man, but it's that Spider Kid. And then you can have him struggle with being, you know, the new, well, not really a new Spider-Man. He knows how to be Spider-Man, but now it's like, oh, Peter is like in danger, where he needs my help. Like, I have to step up and I have to do everything else. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have to take on this responsibility because Peter, you know, is my mentor, and because he's now incapacitated, I have to step up and I have to save the city and I have to be responsible. That's how you kind of do that kind of stuff, and that way you can build on, what the fuck, dumbass. So that way you can build on the whole entire passing on the mantle and passing on the, you know, the whole world of Spider-Man to Miles Morales. I understand some people don't like it, but I think that this would be good character growth for him to show, like, hey, being Spider-Man isn't easy, and doing what Peter does isn't easy, and you're not replacing him, but you're kind of like a fill-in for him until he can recover and understand, like, wow, I have much more respect for Peter and what he does as well, which in change will grow Miles and his supporting character and his world of Spider-Man more. You get what I'm saying? That way we can tell more interesting stories. So, like, once that story is ended and Peter returns, you have Miles in this position now where he's finally in this position where he can stand on his own without having to worry about Peter or worried about, hey, you're the knockoff Spider-Man or you're a Spider Kid, and he can just embrace that. It's just kind of like how Peter, you know, the Menace, the wall crawl, but you know how when J. Jonah Jameson was talking all that bullshit about him, you know what I'm saying? That's the stuff that you need to do. Like, take the criticism, like the criticism that people are giving Miles Morales. The Marvel team need to use that and fuel that as a good story for Miles Morales. That's how you do that kind of stuff. That is how you change that character. You show people, yes, he might be another Spider-Man, but he's his own Spider-Man. And you showed it in the Insomniac games, you showed it in Into the Spider-Verse. So do it again, just in comics. It is not that hard, to be honest. It's really not. That's how I feel about the whole situation. I mean, I know this is one of those random kind of things, and I know some people are probably like, I don't know, Trey, because, you know, he's just a knockoff thing. But if people really sit down and give this character a chance, because I understand there are certain things, but I really do think that out of all the Spider-Man characters besides the clones in 2099, Miles Morales have potential. And it's not because he's black or whatever. I really think the kid got something. He got a spark in him that's just not being used right now. Does that make sense, guys? Does that really make sense of what I'm saying? Is that he doesn't have that spark that he needs. And that is the problem right there, is that spark is missing. The spark that pushes him into the echelon of being, oh, not just another knockoff Spider-Man, but, you know, a proper Spider-Man that we can, you know, be like, okay, when people say Miles Morales, or when people say Spider-Man, people can be like, which one are you talking about? Like, I believe that Miles could have that potential, and I believe Miles deserved that potential. And no, not because he's black or Puerto Rican. No, I just really believe that because in the Ultimate comic book universe, he was that Spider-Man. But now let's show what happens when Peter has a protege. That'll be cool because it's something that Peter never had, but now that he has it, let's do something with that. It's right there for the taking. It's right there. It's like Flash and Kid Flash, and when Wally West was the protege of Barry Allen. That's how you do that kind of stuff. You just gotta go there. You gotta tell some good stories, and you gotta make sure Miles isn't just not being a knockoff of Peter Parker. That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. And I believe that if we can do something like that, and I believe if they did that instead of what they're doing right now with SpiderMan Beyond, I believe that Miles could have been something. But I'm just saying, that's just my opinion on the whole situation about the Miles Morales thing. Trust me, guys, I understand how a lot of you feel, but let's try to give the boy a chance and stop pretending like he wasn't a great character before all of this diversity and inclusion crap happened, because he was pretty much well received in the Ultimate Universe. No matter what anybody goddamn say, he really was well received. It's just when he got over to when he got over to our world, he became redundant, which is kind of crazy when we had how many Spider-Man clones nowadays, and we allowed them. So it's kind of crazy how everybody was just like, oh, he became redundant, but it's like, yeah, but so have the other Spider-Man characters, and we still love them, and we still read about them, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that I don't want to see no more spider creatures, to be honest. I don't want to see no more spider people, but I'm just saying if I have to, that's the thing. I just feel like, hey, the potential is there. Let's give Miles a chance to stand on his own in the Prime universe and show people, hey, this is Spider-Man. This is a Spider-Man that you can trust. This is a Spider-Man that can become his own character just with the title of Spider-Man. You get what I'm saying? I know it sounds crazy. I know it sounds really crazy. I know it goes against certain things I'm saying, but it's only because I see the potential in Miles Morales that others don't right now. That's all I'm saying. I'm just, because I'm looking at it from potential standpoint, not, oh, it's because I'm black, he's black. No, that never really connected with me with Miles Morales at all. I just thought he was a cool, interesting concept of a spider kid that came from the ashes of Spider-Man. Hey, why not? I mean, I like Spider-Girl too, and I'm talking about the MC2 Spider-Girl. Peter and Mary Jane Watson's daughter. Like, that was really cool too, and I'm not a girl neither, so I don't want to hear nobody talking about, oh, it's only because he's black and whatever. No, I just really think that he's a cool character with some potential that just hasn't really been tapped in yet. And because this whole diversity inclusion crap happened, it kind of throws him in there, because it does feel like they're going to try to replace Peter with Miles instead of letting him be his protege like he should be. But I don't know. Maybe I'm just rambling too much about it. But, you guys tell me what you guys think in the comment section below. And I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.